The system behavior section is where you'll find more specific settings to adjust how your Rezgo account works. As the name suggests, this is where you can change some of the system behaviors based on your own preferences. So we got to this section by clicking on Settings here in the corner and down here, System Behavior. So we'll start off with the general settings. Here's where you can set up your Google Analytics, you can enable guest reviews and a lot more. But I won't go through the analytics section in detail too much for this video because we have a lot to cover. But we do have instructions on our support page here, so you can navigate to that by clicking on this link. You, of course, will have to set up your own Google Analytics separately, and then once you have that, you can follow the instructions and enter the codes here, or for your Google Tag Manager as well. Under Refund Protection, here you can choose whether to allow your customers to purchase extra protection when booking through your website. You can click here as well for more information, but here you can enable or do not use it. Verified guest reviews, this allows you to disable or enable Rezgo's built-in reviews system. Now these reviews are tied to the system. They can't be displayed through other services, but again, you can click here for some more information. In the Other Account section, you can attach credentials for certain third-party services that you may have pre-existing relationships with. In many cases, this just is left blank and you don't need to use this if you don't need it. System formatting is fairly self-explanatory. Here is where you can adjust the date format, the day of the week your calendar starts on, or your time zone. And then finally, the Rezgo fees section. Here is where you can adjust if you'd like your customers to cover the cost of your Rezgo fees or not. So you can toggle one or both on. And then you can also change the label. By default, it says booking fee if you turn these on, but you can change this, of course, if you like. Moving on to system configuration. Here is where you could customize a lot more behaviors and settings based on your preferences. I'm going to go through some of them here. But we do recommend having a look around this section and making changes where you need. And if you have questions about a specific setting, please just reach out to our customer success or support team. So starting with booking line item labels, you want to use this if you need to ensure your line items have consistent names. Line items are things like taxes or extra fees you need to add to your base price. So this will allow you to choose between allowing arbitrary labels or not. And then if you need to add the choices here, then this is where you can do that. So for example, if you just wanted to say GST, you can go ahead and do that. Under purchasing, if you do plan to email your customers at any point after the tour, we highly recommend you keep marketing consent enabled. And then cart abandonment, this sends emails to customers if they don't finish their purchase at the time of checkout. And then you can also customize the email further under your settings in the notification section. For checkout availability holds, this is if you enable a hold option, the standard is usually about 5 minutes. If you choose to do this, when your customers check out, the tour they added to the cart will be held for them for that duration set. So this can be useful to prevent overbooking, especially during really busy periods of time. I'll just move down to booking management. This controls how you and your staff can interact with bookings. So for example, you can, if it auto archives after a certain amount of time, this is how you manage the booking status. So this, for example, is if you make a point of sale booking, if the payment is in full, it will automatically change the status. So there's a lot of different settings here. A few more to point out. Booking cancellation in terms of the reason. I know a lot of customers like to require cancellation reasons, especially if you have a lot of staff in your account making bookings. You may want to require these. You also may want to use preset cancellation reasons only. So then you can add them here the same way we added those line items. And that way, when you're pulling your report, there's not a bunch of different reasons that don't really make sense together. You can have those preset reasons if you choose to. Under new comments, by default, when you add comments to a booking, it only shows on the booking, but you can also add to your manifest or your dispatch. You can add these comments to the booking report. So this just, have a look at that, decide where you want those comments to show up. For resources, this is if you use our resource management feature to manage your availability. You may want to enable adding resources by default. So what this means is if you add passengers to a booking, it will automatically update the resource availability. You can disable it. You can change it however you like. However, it is by default on adding resources automatically. Under gift card management, by default, customers have the option to purchase a gift card on your Rezgo site. But if you do not wish to sell gift cards on your website, you can disable this here. You can also customize the amounts that the customer can choose from. You can choose to allow custom amounts or not. And default gift card expiry, it's on never because many regions actually do have restrictions on expiry dates for gift cards, specifically when they're for a dollar amount like this. Some regions you may need to set a expiry, so that's where you can do this. But if you're not sure, usually I would just leave that to never. Under ticket check-in, if you want to enable restrictions on when customers can check in, you can set that here. You can also enable a PIN for accessing that ticket check-in. Under the point of sale settings, this customizes how your point of sale behaves. So again, for point of sale, these are bookings that you take on the back end, not on your website. I would like to point out unpublished options. If you have a lot of inventory, maybe you've unpublished one, but you don't want it to show up on the inventory list in the point of sale. Previously, it always did. Here, you can choose whether or not to do that. We do have some advanced options that are hidden down here. Desk selector is a nice one if you make use of our sales desks feature. That is a little bit more advanced. Not all accounts use that. So if you do want to learn about sales desks, or if you're using them and you're not sure about this desk selector, you could definitely let us know, and we're happy to walk you through that. Another one to point out is requiring an attached contact. Sometimes you don't want to have to attach a contact for point of sale, but in many cases you do. So that's where you can set that. Under transactions, you can actually collect tips on your website during the booking process if you like. You can not ask for tips, or you can select one of these options here. You can also present it on the front end, or when you send, which is your website, or when you send payment requests. You can also customize the percent suggestions, up to 3 options. Now, these last settings, sales desks and price sheets, these are again advanced features, so I'm not going to go through them in detail for this video. But if you would like to discuss it with our customer success or support team, please reach out to us. And then the last one I'll point out in other settings is our AI feature. Here you can enable or disable the AI assistant and writing helpers. So it's a handy little tool that's been added for you if you like. And then there's a few other settings related to waivers and a few other options. So again, lots of stuff in these settings to really customize the behavior of your account. If you'd like to speak to us, please reach out and we're happy to go over it in detail.